Namaste everyone. Welcome to Lessons with Lakshmi. Today we'll be learning how to identify a phrase, clause and a sentence. Before we can go about it, we have to know what is a verb, what is a subject and predicate, what is a transitive and intransitive verb, and what is a finite and a non-finite verb. So let us learn what is a verb. What is a verb? Verb is an action word, or a word which expresses an action is called as a verb. Now sleep, some action is being performed there. Run, walk, talk, listen, teach, give, sing, dance, all these are verbs which do some action. Those are called as verbs. Now verb is also a state of being. State of being means what? We can know from the sentence by knowing is, was, does, did, has, had. That is a state of being. So if we say he is a famous actor, when an explicitly another verb is not used, then is will become a main verb. He is a famous actor. Is the state of being, so that is a verb. If you look at the second example, she was reading a book. Here reading is a main verb, so was will become an auxiliary verb or helping verb. Where we have a main verb, these words will become helping verb. If there is no explicit main verb, these verbs will become the main verbs themselves. He has written a lot of novels. Written is a main verb and has is a helping verb. Now, next step is how to find the subject and predicate of a sentence. What is a subject and what is a predicate, and how to go about finding them. For this, we have to know what is a verb and how to find a verb in a sentence. The first step, if we have, now what is a subject? Which does the action of the verb. Who or what does the action of the verb. We said verb is an action word. Okay, now that action, who is performing or what is doing the action, that is the subject of the sentence. Now how to go about finding a subject? We have to know first what is a verb in a sentence, and before the verb, when you put a question, who or what plus verb, that is who or what is doing the action of the verb, then the answer when you get is the subject. For example, here I have taken he is a famous actor. Now when we ask a question, who or what is the verb we said. So we are writing a question, who or what plus is. Who is or what is a famous actor? He is a famous actor. So he is the subject and rest of the sentence will become predicate. So he is the subject and is a famous actor will become predicate. See, in the predicate the verb is also included, except the subject, the rest of the sentence will become predicate. Now here I have given how to find the subject and predicate of a sentence as a steps. First step is you have to find the verb, and then you have to ask a question, who or what before the verb, and the answer you get is the subject and rest of the sentence is predicate. Let us look at the above example. The audience enjoyed the music. Now we know what is the action word or the verb. The verb here is enjoyed. That is the first step. Second step is you are asking a question, who or what plus enjoyed. Who enjoyed or what enjoyed the music? The audience enjoyed the music. So we get the answer, the audience, that becomes subject, and the rest of the sentence, enjoyed the music, will become the predicate of the sentence. Here I have given a simple worksheet of the sentence for you. You can just go about solving it. Just remember the steps. The first step is first find the verb and then ask a question, who or what plus verb, that is who is doing the action of the verb or what is doing the action of the verb, and the answer which you get is the subject and the rest of the sentence will become the predicate. So here the first example, the cat caught the mouse. What is a verb? Correct. Caught is a verb. Now you will ask the question, what will you ask the question? Who or what caught the mouse? Who caught the mouse? The cat. So the cat will become subject and the rest of the sentence, caught the mouse, will become predicate. So like that you solve and write it down and check with the answers. I have given answers here for you. She sings very well. He is taller than me. You can check out the answers here, but go step by step. Now the next topic we have is transitive verb and intransitive verb. What is a transitive verb? A verb which needs an object to make complete sense. That verb is called as a transitive verb. For example, here I have taken a verb I throw. When we say I throw, does it make complete sense? No, it doesn't make complete sense. For it to make a complete sense, we have to add something. For example, when I say I throw a ball, I throw a book, then it will make complete sense. I throw means what do you throw? It is not clear. The sentence is not complete. So that verb throw is an action, but the action is not passed on to the object. Then it is incomplete. Then that's kind of a verb which needs an object to make complete sense. Then that is called as a transitive verb. Okay, I throw, what do you throw? The question remains. It is not complete. So a ball completes the verb throw. That is, the action of verb is passed on to the ball. Then it is called as transitive verb. Next we have intransitive verb. What is an intransitive verb? It doesn't need an object to make complete sense. It stands on its own. That is, this verb is if we use this verb without object also, it makes complete sense. For example, the patient sleeps. The patient sleeps. Okay, how does he sleep? Are we bothered about how does he sleep? That will become adverb. That means the verb explain how he is sleeping soundly, like that. If we are using some other word, that acts as a complement here. Say for example, birds fly. Birds fly where? That becomes adverb. Where means adverb. So birds fly in itself is a complete sentence. That doesn't need one more object to make complete sense. Then that kind of verb which doesn't need an object to make complete sense, that is called as an intransitive verb. Now here we have a few sentences. Think about few sentences and see if the verb is a transitive or intransitive verb. And the next topic is finite and a non-finite verb. I'm not going to get into detail about finite and a non-finite verb. I'm just going to teach just how you find finite and a non-finite verb. If the given verb is a finite or a non-finite verb, that much only we are going to do it. What is a finite verb? When the form of the verb changes according to the subject, singular or plural, tense, present tense, past tense, future tense, or a person, first person, second person, third person, then it is called as a finite verb. Now we might just look at the definition and think, what is this? I don't understand. Let us break it down and find how is it possible. Okay, it's like a mathematics. Grammar is like mathematics. We have to prove this is how it happens. So let us see, when the form of the verb changes according to the subject, how it changes according to the subject. See here, I have taken an example. Rekha walks to school. Rekha, is it a singular or a plural? Now first we have to find a subject. So what are the steps to find a subject? Yes, first you will have to find a verb, and then you will have to ask a question, who or what plus verb, and then you will get the subject. So here, what is a verb? Walks is a verb. How do you find the subject of the verb? So subject of the sentence, you will say who or what plus walks. Then who walks to school? Rekha walks to school. So Rekha will become the subject. Now we have to know subject is singular or plural. Rekha is a single person or a plural? Singular or a plural? Yes, it's a singular. So it takes a verb walks, that is a singular. Okay, now there may be a confusion. Walks, when we are using s, how can it be singular? Let me explain to you. In the bottom of the screen, at the bottom of the screen I have given noun. If we add s, then it becomes plural. For example, I am taking a car. Plus s will become cars. Car is singular, and when we add s, it becomes plural cars. And verb is opposite to noun. Opposite to noun means here singular is with s, and when you minus the s or es, then the word which you get becomes plural. Now see here, walks is singular because Rekha is singular, walks is singular. There has to be subject and verb agreement. What is subject and verb agreement? If the subject is singular, verb has to be singular. If the subject is plural, verb has to be plural. That is why it changes. So here verb walks is singular. It is not plural. It is opposite to noun. Walks minus s will become plural. Walk is plural, whereas walks is singular. Again, next example, see, the form of the verb is walks in the first sentence. That is singular. When we are using the subject plural, for example, Rekha and Sneha walk to school. Rekha and Sneha are two people. So it is a plural. Subject is plural. So what happens to the verb? It changes to plural. It becomes from walks to walk. Walk is a plural because subject is plural. Verb will change to plural. So here we have proved that if the subject changes, then the form of the verb changes. You have to remember the form of the verb changes. The verb doesn't change. Walks will not become to run or sleep. Only the form of the verb changes. The singular will change to plural. Okay, that was about subject. Then we said the form of the verb changes according to tense. Now tense, we have present tense, past tense and future tense. In the present tense, when we are taking Rekha walks to school. So walks is present tense. What is the past tense of walks? Walked. So Rekha walked to school. That is a past tense, and Rekha will walk to school will become future tense. So here what is happening to the form of the verb walks? It is changing to walked in the past tense and will walk in the future tense. So the verb form of the verb changes from present tense, past tense to future tense. Then person, the third option we had given for is person. First person, second person and third person. First person is I, second person is you, third person is she, he, some other name, Raghav or whatever. Okay, so here I walk to school. I, first person, I walk to school. You walk to school. Walk remains same in both the cases. But when you see she walks to school, what will happen to the walk? What has happened to the walk? It has changed to walks. So the form of the verb is changing according to the person. So what did we say the definition of a finite verb? When the form of the verb changes according to the subject, singular, plural, we have proved it. Then tense, present tense, past tense and future tense, the form is changing. Then person, first person, second person and third person, the form of the verb is changing. Then if it changes, then such a kind of verb is called as a finite verb. I think this is clear. Now how do you find in a sentence if the verb is a finite or a non-finite verb? If it changes according to the tense, say for example I am saying Rita bakes a cake. Now here the verb is bakes. Now if I change it according to the subject, singular or plural, if it's changing or what, we will check. For example, Rita bakes a cake. Rita and Sita bake a cake. Bakes will become bake. So it is a finite verb, correct. And then check with the tense, present tense, past tense, future tense. Rita bakes a cake. Rita baked a cake. Rita will bake a cake. So the form is changing according to the tense. Same way you check with the person. That is how you will find if the given verb is a finite or a non-finite verb. Next, what is a non-finite verb? It does not change according to the subject, tense or a person. The form of the verb remains same. It would not change. For example, we have taken Rekha likes baking cake. Okay, now Rekha likes baking cakes. Rekha and Sneha like baking cakes. Here baking is not changing according to the subject, tense or a person. Then such a kind of a verb is called as a non-finite verb. Now we'll see what is a phrase. Now we have learned what is a finite verb, what is a subject, what is a predicate, what is a verb. This all we know. Now when I say a phrase is a group of words that does not have a finite verb. Now what is a phrase? It does not have a finite verb, that does not make complete sense and does not have a subject and a predicate. Now we know how to go about finding a verb and finding if it is a finite or a non-finite verb. The phrase will not have a finite verb. Now it will not make a complete sense and it will not have a subject and a predicate. Look at the example, made in India. Do you see a finite verb? Now you can say made is a finite verb, but no, made is not finite verb. Here we are using it as a non-finite verb, past participle. Okay. In North Karnataka, is there any finite verb here? No verb we can see. And does it make complete sense in North Karnataka? Is it making complete sense? No. Does it have a subject and a predicate? No. We cannot ask who or what because there is no verb. Same way, winning the prize or a great deal of wealth, it does not have a finite verb. It does not make a complete sense. Then it is called a group of words, means more than one word. Then it does not have a finite verb, it does not make complete sense, it does not have a subject and a predicate. Then such a group of word is called as a phrase. Here, what is a clause? Clause is again a group of words which has at least one finite verb. Now we know what is a finite verb. When we look at the verb, we know if it is a finite verb or not, and it may or may not make a complete sense. Now here, if it makes a complete sense, then it will form a simple sentence. If it does not make a complete sense, but if it has a finite verb, then it will become a clause, and it has a subject and a predicate. Now we know how to find the subject of a sentence and a predicate of a sentence. So a clause has at least one finite verb. It may or may not make a complete sense, and it has subject and a predicate. Means it does not make complete sense. That much we have to remember. For example, I have given, when I was a girl of 12. I was can be I was is a past tense, so we have a finite verb. It does not make a complete sense. When I was a girl of 12, what happened? We don't know. It is not complete, but it has a subject and a predicate. When we have a verb, then we can find a subject of a sentence. When I was a girl of 12. When who was a girl of 12? Who or what was? I will become the subject, and the rest of the sentence, was a girl of 12, will become the predicate. Same way, you see, which was going to a school. Now was going is a finite verb because you can change it to is, has gone, is going, all these things you can change. So there is a finite verb. It does not make complete sense, and it has a subject and a predicate. Now you can ask a question, who was going to a school, or what was going to a school? Which explains what. So it is not, you have a subject and a predicate. So this is a clause. Now what is a sentence? A sentence makes complete sense. That we know. Has at least one. Now when we are making a sentence, it has at least one finite verb, and you can differentiate the sentence into a subject and a predicate, and which ends with a full stop, exclamation mark, or a question mark. I have given here example. She works hard. Works is a verb, and in order to find, now works, she worked hard, she is working hard, she will work hard. That is finite verb. The form is changing. So that is a finite verb. Now, is it making complete sense? She works hard. Yes, it makes a complete sense. Does it have a subject and a predicate? Ask a question, who or what works hard? She will become the subject, and works hard will become the predicate. Yes, it has a subject and a predicate. Does it end with a full stop, exclamation mark, or a question? Yes, it ends with a full stop. I love to cook. Again, love is the verb, finite verb. Then who loves to cook? I love to cook. So that is the subject and the predicate, and it ends with a full stop. So the sentence makes complete sense. You have to remember, a phrase is a group of words, does not have finite verb, does not have subject or a predicate, does not make complete sense. When you take a clause, it must have at least one finite verb. It must be divided into a subject and a predicate. It may or may not make complete sense. That is a clause. What is sentence? It makes complete sense. It has one finite verb, it has subject and a predicate, and it ends with a full stop, exclamation, or a question mark. That is a sentence. Now my next video is going to be on types of phrases, and then I'll continue to do types of clauses and all these things. So please continue watching my channel. I'll be posting more videos, and if you like my explanation, please like, share and comment on it, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to my explanation, and I'll meet you